Okay, there we go.
I look pretty good on camera.
Yeah, not bad at all. All right. We're gonna get some shares going on because we know our folks are joining us. We already know we can count on them, right? All right, we got some folks coming in with us. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Let us know if y'all can hear us. You know, it's been a while since we did the show, so we had some technical difficulties. Got to get back in the groove of doing this thing, but we'll ask your forgiveness. But I want to say, I'm gonna intro. I'm gonna do the intro. This is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. And I want to introduce my guest, but I want to get into a few shout outs, if you will, if y'all will let me do that. First of all, I want to thank you. I got such an outpouring of condolences and things like that for the passing of my mom and grandmother on the last couple weeks. So I want to say thank you. I didn't get a chance to, I would have taken the time to thank you all individually, but I'm trying to catch up on a whole lot of work, y'all, because I ain't did a whole lot of work for almost a whole year. So I'm playing catch up a little bit. So I ask you all to forgive me, but I do want to say thank you all for your sincere condolences, your phone calls, your text messages, all the above. Thank you all so much. I was reminded that, you know, my family in the real estate community is definitely more than just a group of people that I network with. So I want to thank you all for reassuring that for me, and thank you. Also want to give a special shout out to John Stafford and Monique Williams. Grind guy.
Everybody eats.
John Stafford, the grind guy, and Mo Hustle, Monique Williams. The whole Everybody Eats team. Mo and John represented for me, I think it was week before last. They represented, they held it down. Thank you guys for stepping in and doing the show for me, because we try to do the best that we can to keep this thing consistent. But of course, you know, this is real life and things happen in real life. And as a result of situations that I had going on, the show hasn't been as consistent as it should be, but we're getting back in the mode of things, getting back in the swing of things. And again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for consistently supporting the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. Keep watching, because there's going to be some different things that's happening. And there's going to be some great things that's happening. There's going to be definitely some great things that's happening. So keep watching, you know, continue to share. Hit that share button, hit the like button. If you're watching this on any other social media platform, hit the notification, whatever it is that you do to keep up with us, because there's going to be some major things happening with real life real estate investing. All right, with that being said, it says I have an echo with lag. Uh-oh. We're going to have to, y'all keep me up to date on that. Let me know what's happening, because we're going to have to probably modify some things if we still have that situation. But I definitely want to make sure y'all are getting this information. So, who do I have with me today? We talked about it a little while ago. We're gonna get into some stuff today. Y'all might be scared of this young man. And he's got good reason for y'all to be afraid of him. It's gone now. It's good. Okay, thank you, Michael, for that update. This gentleman that I have the privilege, the honor, and the pleasure sitting next to me is none other than Mr. Craig Holston. Now, some of y'all might say, who in the hell is Craig Holston? But let me tell y'all, from my own knowledge of this young man, he's somebody that you definitely need to be paying attention to. Craig Holston is a real estate investor. He is the founder of Let's Buy Your House. Now, he's probably going to have to change the name of that pretty soon because he is now known as the multifamily king. What's up, Mr. Craig?
How you doing, sir?
You know, these folks now, I don't think they're ready for you, man. So we're gonna get right into it, man. You are the multifamily king.
Multifamily king.
So I'm gonna put you in the hot seat for a minute, man. You know, this show is about real life stuff. How long you been in real estate? First of all, real estate period.
Real estate now, My favorite line used to be 3 years making money too. I guess now it's about 4 years. 4 years.
Say that one more
making money
time. That's very
two.
important.
It used to be 3 years making two. Now it's 4 years making money three.
Wow.
And now that I'm in a different avenue, now I understand what real money is. We may have to change that again.
Absolutely. So you started 3 years. Well, you started 4 years ago. 4 years ago, you started, but you said 3 years making money. See, that's the element of this thing that a lot of people miss. Some people say, I've been a real estate investor. Like I'll say, I've been doing real estate investing for 21 years. I probably only made money 18 of those years.
That's how it goes.
A lot of trial and error during that time. So, what makes you? We're gonna ease into it a little bit, but I'm gonna ask this question, and we go double back. What makes you the multifamily king if you only been doing this? Don't answer it now. All right,
I'm ready.
We're gonna come back around to that. We're gonna come back around because this is a show that we have to build a suspense for stuff like that. Because I know these folks want to know what makes you the multifamily king. But y'all stick around. He's gonna answer that question. So, how did you get started? Let's start there.
Got started. I wish I had a better way of saying it, but I was literally just sitting in my friend's room, just reading a lot of books. I think it might have been Think and Grow Rich or Intelligent Investor, and I just kept noticing how I'm reading a lot of these books, doing a lot of research on people, and everybody who pretty much had financial freedom spoke of real estate.
Yes.
So
yes.
Me never even living in a house, well, probably when I was like super young, I didn't know anything about houses, but I'm like, I'm gonna figure this real estate thing out. So what I decided to do was, within that year, I started studying, had analysis paralysis, and I thought I wanted to be an agent. So I found out I didn't want to be an agent. Went to school, failed the test like 1,000 times because it was hard for me to just sit there and just actually just comprehend the information, and it was like school, and I'm not a really good school person.
Okay.
I have to be out there and learn by experience.
You got to know your strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, sir. So, so that's exactly how I got started. And so then once on the last day of my last time being in school, I think my instructor was tired of me being there. So,
you had one of them kind of teachers too, huh?
Yeah, she told me.
Keep showing up.
She told me, she said, you don't need your real estate license to be an investor.
Oh.
I said,
excuse me. So you said you had an instructor tell you that?
Yes, because she knew what I wanted to do, but she didn't want to tell me. At the beginning of class, because I kept asking questions. I'm the question guy. Yeah, she didn't want to tell me until after the actual class was over with. So then she finally told me that, and then I didn't think twice about becoming an agent. So then literally the next day, that's when I started going to meetups and actually pretty much jumping off the porch, becoming an investor. Okay.
Now, I'll go back a little bit. I remember you showing up to my meetup a couple years ago. Yeah. I think you were a little still wet behind the ears a little bit. But, even in that situation, I loved your confidence. You know what I mean? And in any case, in this business, the first thing, especially when you're talking about networking and getting to know people, you got to have some confidence about what you're doing. Yes, sir. And not being ashamed to say that you're just getting started and learning, but confident in knowing that ultimately, someday, you're going to be a multifamily kid.
Exactly.
So, let's revisit where you talked about, you said that 4 years, but 3 years making money.
Yes.
Is that you didn't make money in the first year when you got started?
Well, it wasn't exactly a full year, but I wasn't making money. You have to build first. Yes. So I wanted to build a strong foundation. And at the same time, I had analysis paralysis. So I was studying Ron LeGrand. I know everything about Ron LeGrand's like everything that he has going on. Anybody who posted anything, I was at YouTube University, so I learned a lot from YouTube and just different relationships I built. But besides that, once I actually got started, I was fortunate enough to actually run into somebody that was able to pretty much, she put like a fire under me, pretty much to jump out and to really get started. And the day I met her, the next day we literally went out and started putting up bandit signs. So it was, so that was pretty good, to actually have somebody with some kind of experience in real estate to actually, to help you know, because when you first starting out, you're very nervous. You don't know what's going on, right? And it just seemed like everything is just bigger than life. Like I remember the first time I heard subject 2, I'm like, what in the world is this? You know, how does this work?
Thought that was a new English lesson.
Exactly. So, you know, so just having somebody there, starting out as a mentor and just being able to help out. Unfortunately, that relationship didn't last too long, but because I figured I wanted to do different things and marketing. I'm like a marketing. I love marketing.
Yes.
Right now,
yes.
I'm marketing.
Right. Always marketing.
Always.
Yes.
So, yes, I love marketing, and I come from a music. I was in the music industry as a film director.
So you said we weren't gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about that.
I wasn't an artist.
He gonna rap at the end of the show. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, I was in the film industry. So like, if you see me with a lot of graphics, things of that such, a lot of that is my work because it's a lot of work.
Oh man, pardon my cough. Okay.
So so other than that, you know, I just the more that I love marketing, but being able to apply the marketing to, I guess, a subject and make a decent amount of money with less stress, somewhat, versus the music industry and the competition works best for me.
Right. Okay.
So that's why I decided, like real estate. I love it. I can wake up every day and do this.
So you said we're gonna touch on this real quick, then we'll come back to that. You slipped something in on us. You slipped something in. You say if you see the little marketing, if you see the graphic stuff, that's my work. So you do that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a graphics background. You would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing that for over 10 years, about 15, 16 years.
Okay. Good. I want to give a quick couple shout outs to the people that's joining us real quick. Shout out to Robert Yancey. Shout out to the Grind Guy for tuning in. We got Calvin Durham. What's up? Michelle Sharp, thank you for joining us today. Got a few more people that's joining us. So you've done graphics. You haven't done it on a professional level, or is it just you've done it for yourself?
No, I've done it on a professional level.
Oh, so you did do marketing
in the music
for the
industry.
music. Okay,
I worked
good.
with record labels and things of that such. I didn't really get any credit for it, but you know, it was pretty cool.
That's usually how that stuff happens. Sometimes.
Exactly.
I had a cousin, man, that drew a rapper and they used it for his CD cover.
Yeah.
And they never paid him for it.
Yeah. That's pretty much how
it went. So let's go back. You talked about your first year. You got with somebody that was a mentor. Y'all went out and put banner signs. So she gave you like the nuts and bolts of what you had to do.
Yeah, for that aspect, and just pretty much kept me in line as far as because I have like my mind is.
Oh man, that's
she kind of kept me in line.
That's what we do, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had somebody to keep you in line. Now, what transpired in that relationship that got you to the point of being able to actually make some money doing this?
Let's see. Well, first, just actually my first wholesale deal, the worst wholesale deal I've ever done.
Which you had a good lesson for your first one.
Best one. It was the best one. First house was in Lithonia. This house was destroyed. I dealt with everything. Like I from that first house, I've seen the whole aspect of wholesaling.
Really?
Like I've seen everything. And she kind of pushed me out there. Like I had to go figure it out,
really?
On my own.
Really?
Yeah. So, which was good though. It was exciting. I thought once I got a property under contract, that was it.
That's about 80% of the new wholesalers of the market think that that's what it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I ended up getting this property. It was trashed. It was destroyed, and there was a family living in there, and the whole neighborhood was living in there. I can still smell the property to this day, thinking about it. Yeah, it was.
And somebody was actually living there?
Yeah, it was babies running around with diapers, like sagging to the floor, jumping over trash bags.
Man,
I showed you pictures. Maybe you could post the pictures or something.
No, we ain't gonna do all that. We will, that's a sad situation.
So
I had to evict a family, man, and it was like that.
Yeah.
I cried, man.
Yeah.
I cried. I was like, growing up how I grew up, now we lived, it was some mess in our house, but seeing how these people were living, I was like, man, it was sad.
You'd be surprised.
And then had to put them out too. I was like, man, that made it even worse. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, I had actually, like for that week, for the first week, I actually, like, because I was so sad, like I actually moved them into a hotel.
Oh, wow.
But they ended up coming back and breaking into the house. So I gained my first experience on my first deal, how to open windows. And
Wow.
You know?
Did you document this stuff, man?
I should have.
Okay.
But on the bright side, as soon as I got it under contract, I got it under contract for like I think about 30 grand, 25 grand, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted it on Craigslist.
Okay.
Right? For 50 grand. It sold in less than a minute. I had another contract with $25,000 earnest money.
Wait, $25,000?
No due diligence.
$1,000 earnest money?
Earnest money, yep.
Wow.
Because it was that good of a deal.
Wow.
But now, also at that moment, you know, I'm working 9 to 5, tired of working there. And I'm like, wow, I'm about to make my first 20 grand, you know? So,
right.
But now I'm seeing that price was extremely low.
Yes.
My phone, as soon as I posted it, my phone was ringing. But for the experience and the amount of money that I learned off of that, it was well worth it.
Absolutely.
Well worth
it. So y'all please bear with me. My son is ill. Who's got my wife ill. Now I'm getting ill. But I'm gonna fight this thing. I'm gonna shake it off.
We're gonna get through it.
Man. So your first experience, even though you caught a lot of hell going through the process, the payday was well worth it.
Oh yeah, it was well worth it.
So while we know, especially in our market nowadays, that kind of payday is not typical.
It's very scarce.
Right. Had you only made $2,000, would you still say it would have been worth it?
Yeah, okay. It would have. I mean, I had a pretty decent job, but actually, yes, it would have been worth it because on my marketing, on buying bandit signs and anything else that was needed, because I was purchasing everything. I didn't know, if I seen it, I had the money, I was buying it.
Right.
The day I showed up to closing, I literally had 16 cents in my bank account.
Wow.
So I had no choice but to close.
Wow.
So yeah, $2,000, yes.
So, and I asked that particular question because I want to, excuse me, man, I want to make sure I help new wholesalers and some older wholesalers, because sometimes we set a price that we want to get and we're gonna get it no matter what. I want to help people understand that in this business, if you get to a point where you're profitable, and clearly you were profitable, if you get to a point where you're profitable in this business and there is still something you learned, every dollar above zero is worth it. And I say that to say, and I'm not saying get in this business and only make $500 or deal, you know what I mean? Don't make as much money as you possibly can. But take the experience for what it's worth, because even though you might make a little less money, the knowledge and the experience that you get from doing that deal is something that can never be taken from you.
Exactly.
So while even if it had only been $2,000, even if it had only been $200, the knowledge and experience you got in that situation can be well worth $200,000.
Most definitely.
Because imagine if, and I'm not saying this would be you, but somebody who went through what you went through and that deal didn't close. Yeah. They wouldn't be able to say, ultimately, someday, somehow, some way, that they're the multifamily king. Yeah. You see what I mean?
No, that's true. and going back to my first appointment ever, I had my car, I had logos all on the car and everything.
Okay.
I was ready. I actually pulled up to the house and a real estate agent hopped out of another car. And I'm shaking.
Okay.
What's going on? Then the owner actually pulls up and she's like, yeah, let's take a look on the inside. I was so nervous. I turned right back around. I'm talking about I showed up to the house in a button down and I'm thinking this is how it has to be done. I literally got back in the car and left. I said, yeah, I need to go look at something else real quick. I'll be right back. I left. Really? I was terrified.
But this particular deal we're talking about?
No, not this one.
Oh, another one. Okay.
That's why this one, going into this one, I knew for a fact I'm going to close this because I felt so embarrassed about that because I know who I am inside. Right. So, yeah. But, so the experience is worth more than the money sometimes. You'll eventually hit that threshold where, like you said, you'll start becoming profitable. Yes. But understanding how to get everything, your systems, and just going through the process, you'll start building sort of like some kind of swag to your negotiating. You'll be confident. Running numbers constantly, that I still have to study that still to this day. You know, I still have to constantly go over, and literally was doing that last night. So just going through the process, and every closing is different. So the more experience that you get, the better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing that I always say that's is the most invaluable thing is the knowledge and the experience in this. And I was listening to something that says that in anything that we do, we have to be a student.
Of course.
And we should never stop learning. And it's sometimes that people get to a certain point, especially in real estate, they figure I've gotten to this point, I made this amount of money, I've closed this amount of deals, there's nothing else I can learn. So I know it all. And that's unfortunate because the example that was given in the message that I was listening to was you wouldn't invest in a company that stopped investing in their research and development department.
That's true.
Because if they're not continuously learning about what they're having you invest in and they're expanding that knowledge base, it's not going to be profitable for the people that invest in it.
Exactly.
So if you look at those of us that have been doing this business for a day, for 20 days, 20 years, we have to continuously sharpen our tools and learn because that's ultimately going to be what's the most beneficial thing for us.
Yes.
I ain't ashamed to say that I had a tumultuous year this year because of the traveling back and forth and dealing with family, and I probably got a little bit above a third of the income that I'm accustomed to. Well, not I'm accustomed to my goal that I set with this year. I got about a third of that income, and while it was somewhat of a setback in a sense, for me the benefit in that was I continuously learned. I continuously kept my ears to the ground. Even on the plane, sometimes I pop in my earbuds, and while other people watching movies, I'm listening to books and stuff like that. So it's the knowledge and the experience that we have in this business that is invaluable, that nobody can take that away from us. So I appreciate you sharing that experience, man. For those of the folks that are watching, always be a student in this game. Always be a student, no matter what level you get to. Now, if you make $1 billion, you might want to still learn. You make $1 billion, still
learn how
learn.
to manage it.
You gotta learn. That's gonna be the new education.
Yeah, exactly. Learning how to manage it.
It's one thing to make money, but it's another thing. That's a whole nother class and a whole nother show. But it's one thing to make money, but I think the biggest mistake a lot of people that do this business is they don't retarget those dollars into where they should be for marketing and education and things like that.
And just understanding budgeting also, because you have to think, a lot of people that are getting into wholesaling, usually, sometimes younger in age, fresh out of high school, college, don't really have a sense of any kind of business, but just know, because you got to think, wholesaling is the new sexy thing to do.
It is, yeah.
And it seems super easy, but over time, you'll learn really, really fast, because I would say out of 10 people, I would say only 1 or 2 people really stick.
Yes. This is true.
Yeah, that's how I feel. You got to learn you got to be the whole package: budgeting, marketing.
Yeah,
you're right.
And then with this whole scare, I call it a scare, about the economy crash and the recession is coming. Somebody let the new Paul Revere get on the horse and ride through the neighborhoods and scream the recession is coming. So you got all these people that are in fear of that happening. But I believe that, and this is my opinion, so take it or leave it. But take it. Many people, our recession happens because of fear. I think a lot of times when people are driven to the idea of something bad is going to ultimately happen, they start planning for the bad to happen as opposed to planning for something great to happen. I had a guy that told me to always expect great things to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I might be foolish, but I ain't no fool. I can't read the writing on the wall. And the writing on the wall in many cases is knowing that other people are afraid. I'm not going to be afraid with them, but I'm going to plan around their fear.
Understood.
So that leads me into what we're talking about. Calvin says, you solving problems has value for sure. Absolutely. John Corbin, shout out to John Corbin for joining us. That takes me into the idea now of people. I'm gonna give away some golden nuggets real quick. People now getting into the idea of buying and holding, and looking at creating asset-based income, where they're generating income from the assets that they hold. And one of those ways of doing that is by purchasing multifamily. So we're gonna get into how you became the king, and which ring do we have to kiss of yours?
Yeah, it's
for us to be
ring
able
is
to...
on the way. It's getting custom made.
So apparently the crown is being custom made.
Yeah, that's custom made also.
But listen, and that's cool. I like that, man. So let's get into that. So now we know that it's a very important. The lesson that I learned, I'll share this real quick. The lesson I learned pre-2008, or actually prior, we'll say after the 2008, 2009 crash, is to hold assets.
Yes.
What I was doing, I was flipping because it was a sexy thing to do at the time. And at that time, we were doing, I don't even think we could call them prehabs then. We were literally lipsticking on a pig and making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000.
Yeah.
We weren't doing granted contracts. We weren't doing none of that stuff. But the lesson I learned in that is that while I was buying and fixing, I held some properties for a short time. But I realized that there was money that I had to pay for them. And some of them weren't generating income. Because I'm going to keep it real, I was hard-headed. I thought I could manage it all myself. Made a mess of everything. So I started selling everything. So at the height of the recession, I was cash rich but asset poor.
Yeah.
So I had close to $300,000 in the bank, but I had no income steadily coming in.
Exactly.
So I was like some of the people that was doing business with me. They took their money and they put it in the pillow, or put it on the mattress. They paid bills. They lived their lives, and I did that. And it happened for somehow a year and a half, 2.5 years later, I went from $300,000 and some thousand dollars to only $5,000 in the bank.
The numbers, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing. I literally did that. That's the secret that people don't know. Like, I express that, because I'm not perfect. I did the same thing. I messed up and literally like went bad.
Yeah.
Like was blowing money and actually that's one reason how I got into multifamily. That
okay. And
my first deal. Shout out to Adam Hankey. That's my partner also. When you see Peachtree Acquisitions, that's we have another LLC with that. Doing my regular. It's bad, man. It got bad. You can, and that's another thing what people need to realize in wholesaling. Like when you getting that money, you need to really know what you're doing and take in consideration taxes.
Oh my goodness.
You're going to pay taxes. So
yes.
You have to keep those things in mind. And other than that, my first deal, we came across 25 townhouses, and I was super excited about that. The guy had multiple properties all over in Atlanta, and I actually called him about one of his houses that was on the code enforcement, and just a simple question: do you have any other properties for sale? Do I?
Right.
Right. So he mentioned the 25 townhouses. I'm thinking, what am I gonna do with these? I don't even know, how to evaluate. I don't know anything about it, right? Talk to the guy. He's an investor. He didn't really want me to wholesale him, but I spoke with him. He took a liking in me, and my partner already had a buyer for that. I already had the funds there. The issue was they failed on another closing.
Wow. Okay.
So called him, negotiated a price, got it under contract, got the second contract that night.
Wow.
So we got it for 1.2, and then the guy came and bought it for 1.3.
Wow.
Now, so $100,000 profit deal.
Wow.
And it was probably the easiest deal I've ever done. Right?
Really.
So I'm thinking in my head, my brain starts to to change.
Oh yeah.
So we're meeting up with people, and when I'm going out there to their houses, elevators in their houses, Rolls Royces parked out front, and the buyers, pretty much in the same situation. And I'm just looking around like, so this is what this world looks like,
Yes.
And so one simple question got me really interested in multifamily. We were sitting outside just joking around with the buyers, and the guy asked me, I have some kind of reputation, I guess, good reputation for wholesaling, but so, I'm trying to have my chest poked out, knowing that this guy's in a better situation just to kind of fit in,
Yeah.
And then he
That's
asked
that confidence.
me, trying to at least have that confidence. And he asked me, he said, "So Craig, what do you own?" It got real quiet then.
He said, what do you own?
What do you own?
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking like
That's
some cars.
that's that net worth question right
exactly.
there. Yes.
So what do you own? And I was embarrassed to say it. I don't own anything.
Right. Yeah.
So with that situation, well, I was about to own $100,000, but from him. But
sound like the question,
yeah, I will
question
own
my
that.
wife to. My wife said something to me, man. We had just got married, man, and we moved out of her house that we owned, and we were buying another house, but we were buying on lease purchase, and so when we were going to close. The numbers got skewed, so we instead of having $20,000 to come to close, they want us to bring $40,000. I said, I'm not giving them $40,000.
Yeah.
You know, I said we'll rent for a year and then we'll go back and we'll buy. In the meantime, I'm flipping houses all over Decatur.
Yeah.
And my wife says to me, she said, hey, you know, I don't think she meant anything by it, but it kind of hit me in the gut. So if you see this show, honey, I want to know that you hurt me to the core, but it made me wake up. She said, because we were renting. How can you call yourself a real life real estate investor and you don't own no house? I said, wait a minute. We got some money in the bank though, but that
money means nothing.
Right,
man.
it means nothing.
Money means nothing. Yeah, I'm learning that now.
Yes.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, so my first multifamily wholesale is the first properties that now we own. So
wait, come on now.
Yeah,
Come on now. Don't let the Don't
let
let
the
them
camera
miss that.
in. Let's get
right.
a close
This is
up.
a close up
I'm
right
about
here.
to drop some gems.
Right. So
I'm about to drop some gems.
this is how we call it him. We talking about the multifamily king here, y'all. Pay attention. So the property that you wholesale,
property that I wholesale
is the property that you now own.
Yes, and this is another. So I'm thinking this is by mistake, like just a. Like I'll explain what happened, but I'm thinking this is just a once in a lifetime thing. But now I'm starting to learn the process of syndication. So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's actually pretty normal. But
yes.
Okay,
yes.
so in this situation, the actual owners, and I'm not gonna give out personal names and things as such because I'm about to give out a little bit of information. But they, one guy.
You can give it to me after the show.
Yeah, we do. So one guy has bad credit, but he's a hustler. Like he knows people.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And the other
always
guy,
good to have one of those on your team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the other guy is filthy rich, and he owns things. Well, both of them own things also, but the other guy, he owns more, and on paper, he looks better. Statements and credit. So my whole thing is, I'm thinking like, why is this guy giving him, the opportunity? Not like out of disrespect. I'm just thinking like, why do he need him? Right.
Yeah.
But I had to go back into the process of thinking, go back to thinking with single families. If somebody has the credit or has the money and you have the property, you could partner and make a deal happen. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just bigger money. The numbers are bigger.
Yeah.
The people are different. So, so I started thinking, I'm like, well, okay. So the guy ended up finding out he was sick or somewhat and closed on the property. And we got our checks. He needs to refinance, and he wants to get out of the deal. But the other guy...
Wait, this is the guy that bought the property?
Yeah, they went in as a partnership, bought the property, need to refinance. One guy doesn't have credit, one does. The guy who has the credit and everything else that's needed wants to back out.
Okay.
So somebody needs to provide the credit.
Yes.
We have it.
I like that. I like this segue.
Yeah, we have it for 50%.
Yeah.
So so me and Adam looking at each other like, we getting paid and we're about to own this.
Right.
So you wouldn't believe how much money I had to put up.
Did you share it with us?
Yeah, I'll share it.
Yeah.
Huge number. 0.
I know that's right. Right.
Yeah, so if people tell
so
you...
let's make it plain for the viewers. I want y'all to get this because when we talked about this before. You shared this with me. This is a property that he wholesale, multifamily townhouses, right?
Yep, 25 townhouses.
25 townhouses. He wholesaled them. He made $100,000 profit.
Wait, for the IRS, I made $10.
Right, I know. Well, you got a lot of expenses, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
$95,000
Yeah,
in expenses,
yeah.
for making that $100,000. So he wholesaled it, made $100,000. Then the guy needed to refinance. You were already connected, you were there, but he didn't have the credit. You had the credit to provide.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now, not only did you
actually my girlfriend's credit, but
nevertheless,
Yeah.
it all works out.
Yeah.
So you had the credit to refinance. You made $100,000. Now you're 50% owner, and you're cash flowing.
Exactly.
And made $100,000 up front.
Yep.
Where they do that at? So I want to make a point with that because I struggle with that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I struggle with. Because I have a program where I offer unsecured funding, and a lot of my clients have come through, have the credit, have the ability to qualify for the funding, and they get to the point of saying, okay, now they can get $200,000 in cash. The biggest fear that they have,
what to do with it?
What do I do with $200,000?
Yeah.
Right?
Bring it to me.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, now I can show you how to manipulate that $200,000 and turn it into $2 million. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking to myself, I said, wait a minute, I'm going to start marketing for credit partners. But I was like, wait a minute, that's not, because we did it back in the day. Mm-hmm. It was a regular thing. We all had credit partners. But I was like, man, with certain things, you can't solicit people who don't have experience if they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
If they're not qualified,
if they're not accredited investors,
yeah.
You can't solicit money from them. But you can solicit anybody that has good credit.
That's true.
And there's no SEC situation involved in that, at least as far as the information that I've learned. And I've spoken to my attorneys, and there's no issue with it. So we are still, let me make sure I understand, we are still looking for credit partners. Credit partners, 680 and above. Our program only requires a 660. But 680 and above, if you have decent credit, we're still looking for credit partners. I got to put this plug here real quick. We can show you how to turn your good credit into a whole lot of money. We call our program FICO into a fortune. So we show you how to turn your FICO into a fortune. So if you're interested, send me an inbox message and we'll talk about it. You can't be scared though. Don't worry about it. Your credit is going to be all right. Just look at the money that you're going to make. Exactly. But let's get back into the point that you made. I had to do that plug.
Yeah.
So you provided the credit. You guys were able to refinance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You had nothing come out of pocket.
Nothing come out of pocket. And actually nothing in my name. I mean, it's in my girl's name. Her name was Rand. So, we have to make sure that we got it organized as far as within the entity. Mm-hmm. So, but other than that, it's literally that simple. You need credit, money, and a property. It's that simple. Now, Joe Castaneda, he took me to.
Now we got a shout out to Joe. Today is Joe's birthday, right? Or was
yesterday? Was his birthday? I thought
happy
it was
birthday.
today.
Yeah, happy birthday, Joe. I think they're celebrating today.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Did we miss
it was celebrating today.
It was like five things I was supposed to
get.
I was supposed to go to last night. My son got sick. Yeah. I was like, but shout out to Joe. Happy birthday to you, Joe. It's somebody else's birthday today. We're gonna do some birthday shout outs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe Castaneda.
Yeah, he dang, what was I saying about Joe? Joe, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh no,
did I mess it up for you? My bad. I want to get Joe that shout out.
It was important too. Yeah. Okay. So.
Did he help with financing or something?
No, we were talking about and you need 3 elements for a property. You need a property, you need the credit, and you need the money. Mm-hmm. And somewhere Joe was about to come in. He played a significant role in something that he told me, and I can't even think of it right now. Oh, that sucks.
I know Joe is one of the reigning kings of Airbnb right now.
Oh yeah,
most definitely. He's doing some major things in that, and he does some hard money lending as well.
Yes.
So shout out to Joe for that.
Dang, I was sitting there. I forgot too. That's
it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. So now you guys.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
He brought me to the Grant Cardone. That's what it was.
Okay.
He brought me to the Grant Cardone meeting, and we were there for hours, and I was just paying attention to what they were saying, and I just seen a room full of people, like probably it had to been thousands, or just in the Georgia World Congress Center. It's huge, and every time somebody goes up and they speak, they have people running to the tables.
Oh yeah.
For like thousands of dollars.
I was one of them.
Oh, you were? Okay. Yeah. I'm looking, I'm like, that's $100,000 on that table. That's $100,000.
Right.
Grant Cardone got on there and he said one thing. That's the only thing that I got from that entire event that stuck with me. Money follows attention. Yes. And that's why I call myself the multifamily king. That's one reason. Because who don't want to pay the king?
Right.
Who don't want to? People? When you show a track record and you know what you're talking about. Number one, and you know how to get the right people in place.
Yes.
It's easier to find the actual partners that are needed to close any deals.
That's the only thing that our we'll call him the president. Some people we'll call him the president of the United States. That's all he did was got people together.
That's all it is.
You know, of course, he had a small loan from his dad and his dad's name, and you know
Pretty
those
much,
kind of things that helped out. But all he did was put people together.
Yeah.
And in that, if you do it right, I did it wrong a lot of times back in the day, and I still made money. You know, all of the people that got involved with me, they still made money. I say I did it wrong because if I did it right, I could still be living off the money that I made back then.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, that cash wasn't flowing.
Yeah.
It was just kept going.
Yeah.
But in this situation, you put together what you call a syndication of people. You put it together
without even knowing,
right.
pretty much.
Exactly, exactly.
Without even knowing.
And now you're still profiting from that deal that you put together.
Yep, me and everybody, you know, who was a part of it. So, so it was literally that simple. So the closing was a little weird, but it's a good thing that we actually had the people who initially bought it. It's a great thing that we had, like, the situation was just perfect. Because at the same time, just because somebody is an investor and they're buying a lot of things, they still have bad times and they still have motivation. So, you know, why they might need to either give up a percentage or need to sell a property in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I had a situation where I had to sell a property recently.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
It happens.
But you know, because of, you know, a family situation, I had to sell it, you know, to get some money to take care of some things. But it's those types of situations, and we're talking about assets. So, you know, I want to make sure we point this out. We're talking about assets over cash. If I did not have that property that I had to, like, literally deed at the bottom of the ninth over to somebody to get cash out of it, if I didn't have that property, it would have been kind of a challenge to pull that cash out of thin air. You see what I mean?
Of course.
So that's why, while some people say cash is king, and I get it, but I've come to the knowledge of understanding that a business mentor of mine has helped me understand that credit is power.
It is.
And that means having not just cash, but having assets. And able to, and in order, as you so eloquently described, in order to obtain those assets, you got to have credit.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly.
And you can almost obtain those assets, as you mentioned, by accident.
Yeah.
Just because you have good credit. You know.
That's how I ran into my 81 units that we're refinancing now.
Yeah.
So
you know, he's a little subtle with it. I want to make sure the folk heard what he said.
Yeah.
Started with 25, not 81 units.
Yes.
I think that deserves a multifamily king title. You know, you're amongst the royalty of those people.
Not yet. It's still early.
I mean, now, okay, listen now. Depending on how you look at it, now you're probably not in the Grant Cardone era, but there's some people that don't own a house.
Yeah.
That would consider you a multifamily king. You see what I mean?
I was just speaking with one of my young guys, Matthew, about that yesterday. He just purchased his first triplex in Decatur, and he's like, well, he said he's 20, so he probably just turned 20, fresh 20, right?
Wow.
And we were just talking about how early it was, like when we were, the first conversations that we were having when we met each other, and how we, you know, we didn't know what we was doing. I was still, you know, I was a little figuring it out a little more than he was, but I helped him out a little bit starting out also. And now, you know, you would be surprised at how quick it can happen.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So just as long as just don't be scared. That's
right,
what I notice. A lot of people, when I talk to them and I mention to them, like, hey, you might want to get into multifamily, they're like, oh, nah. Like, what's the reason you're saying no? Is it because it's just the numbers are bigger?
You know, I had a gentleman tell me, I want to say his name was Dave Lindahl, either Dave or Jeff. I think it was Dave Lindahl. I think he's a multifamily guy. He told me, we were having a conversation. He said, Glenn, the only difference between a single family and a multifamily is a couple of zeros.
That's all it is. Oh yeah, and them checks.
Right. Zeros on
those checks too.
It is a couple of zeros. So that's why me myself now, I have kind of transitioned my way of thinking. I'm back in buying mode now because you know I had to sell the property, so I got to buy some more. So I'm back in buying mode, and right now there are some properties because of where they are. I'm buying them as single family homes because I got to build my portfolio up. But because of what I understand about different areas of the country, how the profitability of the return on investment is higher. You know, areas like Detroit, areas like you know, Wisconsin, Indiana. I'm giving y'all free game here. Those different areas, the ROI is much higher. So that's the area where I'm buying multifamily. Now I'll buy a couple, you know, single families here in Georgia, you know, because they're here and they're still cash flow. But the biggest ROI is in the Midwest, and, you know, based on what I've seen.
Yeah.
Now there are some, depending on how you do your syndication, how you get the group of people together, they can, you know, cash flow pretty well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this 81 unit that you're talking about, is this something that you've already purchased, or is it your?
So it's a situation. I pretty much, man, shout out to Jay. I'll just say that, but just an amazing opportunity that was given to me. Man, I don't want to go into too much details about it, like as far as the numbers and things of that such, because he looked out. Like he really looked out, and man, it was a great situation. But he pretty much bought the properties in Augusta, it was a bad area, right? It's an opportunity zone, but he seen the future in the property, so that's what I'm learning now about determining your actuals and your performance. So you know, so he seen the future and he wasn't scared. He like, I'm gonna go in here, and he's a contractor, so he's like, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna renovate everything. Yeah. That was his goal. So he did, and except for one building, there's 16 units that still needed to, you know, be renovated, but it was already cash flowing. He moved people in, and yeah, without getting into, you know, great detail, especially because the IRS is probably watching, but so he got it to the numbers that he needed, and he got into some sort of situation, and I was able to fix that situation, being a problem solver, like, you know.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
So I was able to be a problem solver, but at the same time, I'm just thankful that he gave me that opportunity, because because when he was telling me, like, I was like, oh goodness, I'm panicking. I'm like, what do I do? Let me try to figure this out. Right. The numbers, like, again, the numbers are big, and I'm like, wait, it's the same situation. You know, just evaluate it and understand what you're coming in at, which is zero.
Yes.
Again, I spent $0, and understand that your risk, there is none. Right. If you come in with nothing, you lose nothing.
Absolutely.
So, my uncle actually financed that. Like, my uncle actually is the one who put the money up for that.
Oh, wow.
Because he had it laying around. He said, hey, let me go ahead. Hey, you know what?
Great stuff.
So, but he's going to see a significant return on that. Forever, as long as the property is lasting. But this was something that when I first started in wholesaling, or anything, period, real estate wise, he was the one who started paying for my classes, and then one of my good friends, he also helped also. You know, so he helped because I was low on money. So those were the first two people I wanted to give the opportunity to.
Okay,
you know?
good stuff.
Yeah, as soon as they came around. So, yeah.
Well, you know, you're giving some real good examples, man, of what being diligent is. Okay, what's that? Being diligent is. And
phone's ringing already. Look.
like, hey, can I get on that? And what having stick-to-itiveness is. I'm trying to figure out who they're calling. We didn't put this one on do not disturb, so we'll do that. and having. What I've understand is what's called stick-to-itiveness.
Yes.
When you put yourself in a situation where even though there's challenges, you still will stick to it and see it through and still benefit in the long run.
Yeah.
You know.
And it goes hand in hand because you know you like you got to be careful as far as in because I'm pretty sure somebody else would have seen that situation like I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sure where he actually went wrong. Or if he in fact really went wrong, like, cause he's so smart, you know, in the way he, you know, organized everything. Maybe he didn't go wrong. It's just it's time for him to cash out. He built the equity in the property.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So for him, So I guess he actually, cause he is buying more units. So it was just an opportunity that was right there in my face. Yeah. So now on the bad end, he's pretty much taking all the equity out of the property. Okay. But I'm receiving the monthly cash flow. So, and the numbers on that is more than what people make in a year at a job. Each month.
Yes. So, and that's, you know, that's significant, man. And again, it's by putting yourself in a position to be able to obtain that kind of favor. You know what I mean? So that hat goes off to you, man.
I appreciate
so
it.
that's why you're the multifamily king.
king.
So as far as we know, how long you been a multifamily king? About 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Probably. No more than 2 months.
So to date, you are the undisputed.
As of now.
As of now. So and there'll be a time in your life that you can say, even if you don't get disputed, you can ultimately say, I am the undisputed multifamily king.
That comes with a little time.
That's all right. That's all right. You got 2 months be under your belt now. You know what I mean? There's some people that ain't had that much.
Yeah.
So and it comes with having what you have, man, is perseverance, and looking at the opportunity in situations, as opposed to just the difficulties.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned in that 81 unit type of situation, some people looked at it.
A lot of people did. They overlooked it, and that's how it became one of my better situation for me, because I was the rebound off the rebound off the rebound off the rebound, and then he's panicking, like what? Wait, what's going on? And then here I come and say, let's do it.
Right.
So
right.
But this is how we're going to do it, and and this is how we we can make this happen. So it's just man, just 80% of success is just showing up.
Absolutely.
And you'll be surprised at just thinking positive and figuring out the solutions to the problems, and that's it.
You just made me think of something. Excuse me. One question I didn't ask you is, how old are you?
28, 22 on stage.
The entertainment career, you're 22.
Yeah, entertainment, I'm 22.
But 28 years old, man. I tell you, at 28, I was still trying to figure out who I was. Actually, I thought I figured it out, so I was still growing into who I was becoming, I'll say. So at 28 years old, man, you're far ahead of a lot of people, that are probably nearly twice your age.
Yeah, age-wise.
Age-wise, right.
Yeah.
And I say, excuse me, it's something to be said about the places that you're putting yourself in and the networks that you're able to, connect with at such a young age, because oftentimes people that are at a certain status or at a certain level or even at a certain age wouldn't even consider you. You see what I mean? As someone even having a conversation with.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's those closed-minded folks. So closed-minded folks, be careful. And I say again, man, it takes having what a friend of mine used to call
balls.
Well, yeah.
It's a
I'll say right. I'll say what he used to how he used to say it. Testicular fortitude. And that helps. That it confidence, does. Man, and putting yourself in those positions.
It does. And age, I don't really. I'm appreciative of my age. Like, I use it as an advantage. Me and Matthew was just talking about that yesterday. But like my partner Adam, he's I think he got 10 years on me, but his experience level is lower than mine. It's so. Age. I mean, he started out. Like I said, it took me about a year, to close my first deal. He's closing more deals than some of the people. Like, he's closing more deals per month than some people that's been in the game for 15, 16 years.
Right.
And so it doesn't really matter what age he has. Balls. So I mean, let's just be real.
We'll call it what it is.
Yeah, we'll call it what it is, because he came in not with knowledge. He knew only a certain amount. He actually came in the wrong way, but. Well, actually, wrong is only wrong until it's proven right. You get what I'm saying?
Say it again.
Wrong is only wrong until it's proven right.
Right.
So,
yeah.
The way he came in, we were able to take that and use it to an advantage.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So age, I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 90 years old or you could be 18. You still have the chance of being able to do the things that you want to accomplish, especially in business.
It's true, yeah. And I've been around for a little while, man. And I have to say, over the last few years, I have had that privilege to get to know some of the people that are much younger than me, even younger than you, that are doing this business, man. And it goes to show that age really ain't nothing but a number.
It's a number.
You know what I mean?
It's a number.
If you position yourself properly, if you learn the right things, if you connect. And I have to say, it does require a certain level of humility in a sense.
Oh yeah.
Even though that we're saying that you're the multifamily.
I was about to say,
it's no, I mean, listen, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I say claim it.
Yeah.
Because even in claiming that, the humility is knowing that you got to work towards maintaining that.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So
yeah.
there's nothing wrong. I mean, you have companies all over the place that say that they're number one.
Yeah.
And they're probably number 9 or number 10.
Yeah.
But until somebody disputes what they're saying, and they have the ability to build to that number 1 spot, what's his name? Floyd Mayweather. Actually, we'll even go back further. Muhammad Ali said he was the greatest.
Yeah.
He said he was the greatest. Now, he's been beat a few times, but people today still call him the greatest. You see what I mean? Some people think just because you've been beat, you can't be called the greatest.
Actually, in order to become the greatest, you have to be beat in a certain sense, and failure doesn't necessarily comes in losses in their sport,
absolutely,
but it happens, within your life. So, like the humiliation, that's the funny thing. That I'm glad you used that word, because that's all gaining opportunity, and like I said, 80% of success is just showing up. When you show up, you're going to be humiliated because you don't know. First, you probably don't know what you're talking about, and then you have to go to that big table and sit there and say, "Hey, I deserve to sit with you guys," with the smallest plate.
Yeah.
But so you have to have that confidence, and if you know who you are inside, the humiliation is nothing. That's why I love it. Like, please,
Well, no. I was saying humility, but there's some. There's some level of what you're talking about as well. There's, man, look. In this business, man, in real estate, if you worry too much about being humiliated or being, if you spend more time on that, right, in life, if you spend more time on that, man, than building yourself up to who you ultimately want to become, then you're already losing.
You're losing, and you're not real to who you are. You're not like. We explain to people, people are watching that. I don't even know probably. And I explain situations of me being up, down. It happens. Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to face another failure in multifamily. I like to look at it like the Mario game, like Super Mario.
Yeah.
And, okay, so you're going through the first starts out super easy, then you start winning each board, and then at the end of that board, you fight whatever his name is, Bowser, whatever, and that mission is super, super hard. It's the most difficult. You might fail it a couple times, whatever, but then once you get past that, now you're on a new level with new boards.
Yes.
The difficulty is a little bit more, but it starts back easy on that level.
Right,
so,
right, yeah.
Overcoming, that's how I like to look at it. So I always tell people, like, when they're like, oh, is this going, is this, I'm like, that means you're doing. That means you're about to, you're about to branch off into that next level. So it gets harder. So in that case, for me, understanding that, just being able to just keep going. Like I'll go back down to 0 and will still keep the same mindset as if I own the world. You know.
And that's, like I said, as I shared earlier about my year, man, has been as difficult as it's been. What I know that I didn't lose, as much as I didn't earn, as much as I'd like to, the goal that I set, I did not lose the ability to still earn that.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? Like, for what I know I'm capable of, even if I, let me just say for somebody that may not even know that they're capable of, if you believe that there's a possibility that you can, you're about 85% of the way of getting it done. It's those people that don't even fathom the possibility of owning a 25 or owning an 81 unit. They don't even think that, like, somebody like me or, speaking about themselves, that's possible for them. You see what I mean? But when you put yourself in those positions, like you said, you got into this situation almost by accident.
Yeah.
You first thought that all you were going to do was wholesale.
So wholesale it.
The 25 unit.
Exactly.
I bet you when that $100,000 check hit your hand, you was like, wait a minute, is this real?
We was at, it was real, because me and Adam went straight down to Florida that day. So we was already, he was booking the Airbnb in closing.
Wow.
But, it was real, and I've had some really good wholesale deals, but nothing that big. That was the biggest. Like, I was studying Maxwell, and hearing the numbers that he said his biggest number was $60,000. I was like, I just beat Maxwell. You know what I mean? Like, he just beat Maxwell. Like, wow. Like, I can't wait to see him. I'm gonna tell him that. But I'm gonna bring that up to him. Like, yo, like, I was sitting there following you, and actually like almost doubled your number, you know.
Yeah.
Which, but at the end of the day, you know, like I was saying, showing up, just being in those positions, not being scared, and overcoming your failures. I just literally dropped out of school, didn't even go a semester to become I would need to get my general contractor's license because my thing was I'm gonna build skyscrapers.
Right.
That sounds insane, right?
Yeah.
But I was saying I'm gonna build my own multifamily units. Like that's gonna be my thing. I'm gonna be the one who has the money for it. I'm gonna be the one who actually builds it myself with my own team, my everything.
Yeah.
And Joe actually brought to my attention, like, man, you know, focus on, you know what I mean? Like, you might want to focus on one thing, which made sense. Mm-hmm. But now, so literally, I could be like, oh man, I dropped out of school. It was too much. I couldn't do this. I could be talking about that. But instead, I went out and just bought my own multifamily.
So in that situation, you know, I rail against people who say focus on one thing.
He didn't necessarily say focus on one thing, but that was...
Yeah, and I think sometimes people misinterpret actually what focusing on one thing mm-hmm. is. You know, some people say stay in your lane, and I get that. I'm 100% that. But it's the one thing can be the ultimate goal that you're trying to accomplish. Sure. And if the ultimate goal is for you to build a skyscraper, mm-hmm. you're going to cross a couple different lanes to get to that point.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to have to.
You know, you're going to probably lose focus.
Yeah.
Getting to that point.
No, that's true.
You see what I mean? So, and losing focus meaning that there's a couple different building blocks that it's going to take to you. Like you said, you dropped out of school to get your mm-hmm. general contractor's license, right?
Well, actually, I was going to school to get whatever is required, project management license, whatever they require now. But, yeah, so, and when he said that, he was saying it from a sense of he's seen the momentum I was already having doing what I was doing, so he kind of like, bro, this ain't it. Like, you know, like keep pushing on that and then go do that later.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Which makes sense. And it actually, he was right. He was actually right. I did need to, that was the element that was accumulating too much on my time. But, yeah, people used to call me indecisive, say I can't focus on one thing. People who know me personally know Craig can do everything, mm-hmm. right? I work on cars to buying real estate. I can fix somebody's credit and rewire something. I don't know, whatever I set my mind to, I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
But that also, you know, they say jack of all trades never master one.
Yeah.
I said jack of all trades never go broke. So in business, you know, we appreciate. Like in the music industry, Jay-Z's, P. Diddy's, but you have to think, they were a jack of all trades.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, they mastered music, but
mm-hmm.
you have to be very diverse in what you do.
Absolutely.
And so should your portfolio.
Definitely.
Buy multifamily.
So let me ask this question. I think we're coming up on our time.
Okay.
So in being the multifamily king,
mm-hmm.
are you at a point where you want to be able to teach this yet?
Not necessarily yet, because I'm still learning.
Okay.
I'm still learning, but teach as I go.
Okay. Well, I'm still learning.
We all still learning, but I would like to teach people from a very, very beginner standpoint.
Okay.
But the only reason I don't want to teach yet, I could teach wholesaling and all that stuff all day.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I don't want to teach multifamily yet is because I haven't been approached by a failure or a problem. And I feel like the best teachers are the ones who want to experience.
Man, bruh, hey, listen, if I could have paid you to be on the show, that would have been one thing that I'd have paid you for saying that right there. Oftentimes, people misunderstand that because they can. Now, I'm from the idea mm-hmm. that if you can do a thing, you can teach it. Excuse me, you can teach a thing. But at the same time, having gotten to a certain level and having not faced certain obstacles, mm-hmm. you actually haven't really done it.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? You haven't done. Let me say it from this perspective. You haven't done all of the things that involve you being a master of that thing.
Exactly.
And becoming a master of that thing is going to cost some setbacks.
Exactly. A lot, yeah.
The master has to know that in order to navigate through the obstacles, mm-hmm. you have to go this way and do this thing and do this thing. It doesn't necessarily mean you've never seen any obstacles. You can't be a master and not see any obstacles. You see what I mean? Like Bruce Lee was a master of martial arts. Mm-hmm. People think he's never been whooped. You know what I mean? He's been whooped a couple times.
Yeah.
But he then ultimately knew what he had to perfect in order to become the master.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? So I get what you're saying. And a lot of times, we have a lot of newbie people who get into the business of wholesaling, and they want to go, Derek Price, they want to go and start teaching, and they haven't faced any obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Like the grind guy says, if you didn't face, there's a couple different perspectives.
Yeah.
The grind guy says if you weren't around during the recession,
yeah,
you probably shouldn't be teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else said if you were in high school during the recession, you probably shouldn't be teaching.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a couple different schools of thought to that. You know, I think that it's easy to teach people when you've only had wins. It's easy to teach people how to win when you've only had wins.
Mm-hmm.
But when those wins have never been faced with any type of obstacles,
yeah,
it's hard to teach them how to navigate the obstacles if you don't have that experience.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? I think, in my opinion, I think that's what it takes to be a teacher and a master at something.
Yeah.
I want to address some of the things that people are saying. Again, y'all, please forgive me.
Craig's not the king.
Right. Nobody said that yet. So you still the undisputed king.
I'm still undisputed.
He's still undisputed. Kirk Tucker said, this is solid information. Thank you very much, sir. Robert Yancey, he says, if you don't own real estate, man, that's real talk. Derek Price says, thank you for failures and your knowledge and your humbleness to share. Yes, indeed. I want to thank you for that as well. Is the name of the credit to cash program? Are you saying what is the name, Michael, or is the name? No, it's not credit to cash. That's somebody else's. Ours is called FICO into a Fortune, if that's what you're asking about. I want to own a multifamily soon, Calvin Durham.
Hey, so, what you waiting on, man?
Calvin, you got to get to it and do it.
Let's do it, yeah.
And we got Derek Price that says, I hate when people say focus on one thing. I'm trained on multi-lanes on this path I'm on. I say you can't do nothing but one thing. You go do, wait a minute. I say,
he's pretty much saying that you got to be diverse if you're going to try to get to, where you're trying to go.
Okay. See,
I think that's what I'm getting.
That's why, I have people come on here that's smarter than me.
But
you was able to figure
everybody
it out.
can't do that, though. That's the thing. Like,
you
got to know what you're good at,
Right.
You got to know exactly what you're good at.
Kim McClendon, what's up, man? That's my brother. What up, though? My brother from Detroit. Yeah, but it requires, man, knowing. Another thing that I've learned is that people tell you to focus on your strength. Look at your strengths and weaknesses. But the one thing that we often miss is that we need to focus on strengthening them both.
Exactly.
You got to strengthen your strengths.
Yes.
And you got to strengthen your weaknesses. Even though you know that there is some weakness in sometimes what you do, certain things that are not your forte.
Yeah.
You still need to learn a little bit more about those things.
Yeah.
So that you know enough to delegate them.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I learned, man. I know a lot of my weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is organization, and I got somebody that organizes me.
Yeah.
He's my virtual assistant. He's been sending me messages since we've been sitting.
Yeah, I have virtual assistants.
And I know. I saw him on here watching earlier. Umir, I saw you watching earlier. So I'll be back in the office in a minute, so you can tell me what I need to do there.
And I'm gonna give 2 quick shout out. Like I'm for John Stafford, Grind Guy.
Yes.
Because he told me I was going through really, really bad situation. And when I figured out the first time I was going under, and I'm like, whoa, and I didn't know how to control it. And he told me a story. I'm not going to mention it, but he mentioned a story and what he went through. And man, I'm like, I'll take my problems. I'll take mine. Yeah, he mentioned that. That really helped me to stay focused, and because you got to think, like, when it was going down, I'm like, do I need to fill out job applications? What are we doing?
Man, look, that's the life of an entrepreneur,
man. Yeah.
If you don't get to the point of sometime wondering,
maybe I need to go ahead. Yeah, like so. Him and I know we mentioned about like not teaching at a younger age, but I got to kind of go against that a little bit. But Errol, I have to give a shout out to Errol. How old is Errol?
Errol's been through it though, man.
How old is he?
Errol, I want to say Errol's about 24, 25.
Yeah, man. Errol, that's definitely somebody else who I look up to. Like,
I give props to Errol too, man, but Errol has had the he's had the right people around him.
Oh yeah,
he's positioned himself. Yeah, he's positioned himself. I mean, Errol is still humble to this day.
Very, yeah.
You know, so I think he's somebody that can share a lot of the experiences that he's had. You know, and I think he's he's bumped his head a couple times, so he probably can help people navigate through some of the situations that they've been. So definitely shout out to Errol.
Yeah.
I wanna give another shout out while we're doing that. We're gonna wrap up here in just a second. While you mentioned the grind guy, John Stafford. John Stafford said something that helped me think again, even about the people that I teach. Is that he says always stay on the yellow. He says always stay on the yellow because some people go to the red when they think it's going bad, or they go to the green when they think they're about to get a check.
Yeah.
He said, but if you stay in the yellow, you know what I mean, you can definitely maintain your level-headedness. But one thing Robert Yancey told me, I believe it was earlier this year or last year, he told me to focus on the thing that's making you the most money.
Yeah.
Now, and I say that was good, that was great information for me, especially for this kind of year, because my focus was all over the place. And like I said, what I was going through with family and stuff like that, I had to put myself in a position so that I didn't have to focus on, teaching, doing this, that, and the other. So I stayed in 1.5 lanes as opposed to the 5 that I'm always in.
Yeah.
So I stayed in 1.5 lanes, man, and that's what ultimately kept me this year, you know what I mean, and dealing with the things that I dealt with. So shout out to you guys for always sharing your knowledge and your wisdom.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Like I said, there's so many people in this game, man, that we're fortunate to be connected to.
Very. Yes.
That would definitely keep us lifted up. Maintaining what we need to do. Mike says, can I leverage my mother's credit? Her TransUnion is 738, 714, and her Experian is 663.
Stop putting your mama's information out there.
Right. Just don't put her social security number on it, buddy. Hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Mike, send me an inbox. That's a possibility. We need to get that Experian up, but we can certainly talk about it. I mean, it's a possibility we can get something done. So I'm always looking for credit partners. So if you guys know somebody that has decent credit that want to get some things done, let's definitely talk about it. Any last words you want to share with the folks?
Let's see. I guess for the new folks, keep going, keep grinding. People who has helped me in my path, whether it was positive or negative, I appreciate the experiences.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Everything I've learned from good, bad. A lot of people know the bad that I've been through. But yeah, I'm fighting. I'm always leveling up. Just keep pushing, and just, that's it. And just keep gaining knowledge. That's the most powerful thing out here. Just keep gaining knowledge. That's the only way that you're going to be able to pretty much succeed. But that's pretty much it.
All right.
I wish I had a better closing, but
No,
this is my first one. Like
that for somebody right there is a multi-million-dollar line of advice.
That's why they call me the king.
That's why you're the king. That's why you're the king. And we bow down to the king. We bow down to the king. But I just want to add to what you said, man. I want to help people. I want to help people clarify. I want to clarify something for folks. You said keep gaining knowledge. What I say in that is definitely do that. Continue to be a student. But let's stop mistaking knowledge for being power, y'all. Some people mistake knowledge for being power. You can have a whole lot of knowledge and not do anything with it.
Yep, I slipped up on that. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it's important to keep learning. Like I'm gonna get back in my car and back on the way home to take some more Theraflu because this cough is getting the best of me. But on the way home, I'm gonna be listening to a book on the way home. Every opportunity I can. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. But I have to do what my mentor, Markwell Russell, says: implementation. You gotta continue to implement the stuff that you do, because it's one thing to get like how many people I got a ratchet set. Mm-hmm. I got a ratchet set at home. Paid $99 for it. Got everything and it's pretty. Mm-hmm. I probably use it about 3 times. So I got some tools.
Yeah.
But how good are they if they don't
There
use
you go.
them?
Knowledge without action is pointless.
Absolutely.
So, well, useless. But yeah, so you're right. You do gotta action. I slipped up on that. Yeah. So,
No.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
learn to take action.
Yeah, it wasn't a slip. I mean, it's important because people need to know that it's very important to get knowledge. It's very important to get knowledge. and I want to make sure I say this because there's so many people. You know, I do YouTube videos. I'm about to go do about 4 or 5 more. You know, I'm probably gonna do 2 on the way home. You know, once I learn what I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get it. I'm gonna do it. But I want to make sure people get what you said in the beginning. That you read books, you studied, you did YouTube University.
Yeah, YouTube University.
But the other ultimate thing that you did is you got with somebody that showed you how to implement.
Yes.
You know, even if it was just to the point of putting out band assignments.
Yeah.
You know, that's a point of implementation. So guys, even though you learn something, don't just sit on the knowledge. Actually get out there and do it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I got to plug one last thing and we're going to close. I am actually starting I'm starting a new program because I've been around the world and remember that song back in the day? So I'm actually starting a new program. I'm calling it Back to the Basics. I'm taking people back to the nuts and bolts, back to the nitty gritty of wholesaling. I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm start from the basics. I'm not gonna fool you into believing that you can do it with no money and no credit. So if that's all you want to know about how to do it with no money and no credit, I'm not the person that you want to talk to. I am going to teach you how to do it with no money. Let me clarify that. I can teach you how to do it with no money and no credit, but I want you to come on expecting that even if you don't have money or credit to start with, you need to be prepared to get both of those things built up.
Exactly.
Be prepared to get your credit in order and be prepared to get some money. Don't get stuck on only doing real estate with no money or no credit because some people come in and they learn and that's where they stay.
Yeah, you're right.
The first deal that you close, you should be investing that money and getting your credit right. If your credit ain't already fixed.
Invest that money.
Right.
Please.
Invest that in getting your money and invest that in something that's going to grow your money and invest that in something that's going to get your credit in order. So I'm teaching you back to the basics. I'm going to teach you how to get your credit in order. I'm going to teach you how to network. I'm going to teach you how to find money. I'm going to teach you how to find people with credit. I'm going to teach you how to do some syndication. I'm going to teach you how to do all of these things. And then we're going to tap my brother, Craig Holston, on here. He's going to teach us how to get into some of these multifamily deals. I'm going to show you how to get your money up and your credit up. And then we're going to start doing business with him and get in on some of the deals that he's doing.
And I'm here.
You know what I mean? So, listen, guys, if that's something that you're open to, you're interested in, go ahead and hit the inbox. Either inbox Real Life Real Estate Investing or inbox me personally, Glenn Glasper. And let's get you on track. You know, the big thing now is a 2020 vision.
Exactly.
You know, if you got a real 2020 vision, if credit and get cash ain't in that 2020 vision, you cross-eyed. So, again, I want to shout out all the people that reached out to me. I want to definitely say thank you again. Thanks again for those of you that joined us today. Let's find out how can folks get in contact with you if they want to just talk about.
A lot of people they just message me on social media. Everything is now changed to Multifamily King. So so I'm Instagram, Facebook. I am trying to get in contact with everybody. Like I'm trying to keep up with the messages.
So I've learned a lesson from one of my big brothers is that we don't use the word try.
Okay.
Either we do it or we don't.
I'm getting there. Okay, so I see the messages. I know the appointments, the meetings everybody want to have. I'm getting there,
Okay.
So I'm getting there. And I'm actually thinking about maybe you can help me with this. We might just do like one quick event. Just have everybody come.
It's done.
And we show them exactly how to get it done.
It's done. We take it from soup to nuts.
There you go.
We'll make it happen. So again, guys, listen. We get things back on track with Real Life Real Estate Investing. Expect us to be back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Life's getting back on track. We get things back in order. The event is coming back. Real Life Real Estate Investing event is coming back. I want to definitely talk about some segments that we're going to have here on the Real Life Real Estate Investing show. We're going to have where you can actually have your property as a wholesaler, as a retailer, or as an agent, whomever. we're gonna promote your property for sale on this show. All you got to do is submit it to us, and we'll promote your property for sale on the show. Now, of course, there's going to be a fee associated with it, but we'll promote your property on the show. We do have a consistent level of viewership that's growing again because we're getting back into doing the show. So reach out to me via inbox. We'll have everything formal set up in the next couple of weeks. But reach out to me if you have a property that you want to have promoted on the show, or an event that you want to have promoted on the show. Go ahead and reach out to me, and we'll definitely market those things for you on the show. We are also going to be talking about, we're going to get back into doing the real life real estate investing events. That's coming again in the new year. And don't forget Master the Money Game. Don't forget Master the Money Game. That's still happening. We had some situations where I didn't know if it was going to come off, but Master the Money Game is still going to be happening January 18th. I know I got to reach back out to my folks that's going to be joining me in that process. So definitely check out the things that are coming up, the things that are happening. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. I know it's holiday season and things are coming up, but hey, listen, we're going to make this thing happen. And I'm excited for you folks that either just getting started, that'll continue your career, stick with it. My slogan for this year is that I was pulled over, but I'm not parked.
There you go.
I'm keeping it moving. And again, thank you all for your words of encouragement. And the biggest thank you I want to have for today is thank you, Mr. Craig, for joining us today. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. And keep on doing what you do, man. You know,
I appreciate it.
There we are. One thing I learned about this business, man, and doing what we do, we never know who's watching.
Exactly. That's true.
You know, so you're an inspiration. You know, anybody that I reach out to, but mainly you. In this situation, I reached out to you because you inspired me. Because I remember your story. You know, so you inspired me to have you join us today, and I know you've been an inspiration to the people that are watching. And this is going to be shared. We're going to share this all over the place so people get to watch this again and again. So people will know, and they'll want to find out who is the undisputed.
now I got to change it. The undisputed
multifamily king. All right, folks, thank y'all for watching. This has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. And this is the part of the show that y'all not supposed to see, is I got to get up and walk across the room and touch this button right here. But in the edited version, you won't see that. Thanks again for watching.